Assalamualaikum and a good afternoon to Puan Fauzia Saada binti Haji Abdul Halim and fellow classmates. We are
Nordisriana Ahmad Kasa
and Zuliana Faizin binti Zulkifli from class 3AX. We are very excited today to present our topic of discussion titled Malaysian Ideal Retirement Age and its Issues.
Without any further ado,
Let's begin our presentation.
Bhai, could you tell us what is the project summary all about?
With pleasure, Haez. Retirement can be defined as a condition of having retired in dictionary 1986. When an individual stops employment completely and begins a new phase of life. Malaysians are an optimistic lot despite rising inflation that the revision of the public and private sector retirement age to 60, a good many still aspire to retire on average at age 55. The issue came about when the government of Malaysia received some suggestions to raise the current retirement age from 60 to 65 years. Thus, this report is to discuss if this is a good idea to Malaysians. Guys, do tell us how did we want to discuss of this topic as our executive summary project?
Certainly, Bhai. It all started when I came across an article in the Star newspaper on 8 April 2017 titled Government has to study viability of extending retirement age past 60. The Women, Family and Community Development Minister Datuk Sri Rohani Abdul Karim said it was an acceptable idea to ponder upon. However, the government needs to study it thoroughly and do extensive research before amendments to change the current retirement age from 60 to 65 years could be made. The decision to change is not from her ministry alone, but also from other agencies such as public sector departments. This is because the Minimum Retirement Age Act 2012 was newly enforced on 1st July 2013, whereby it sets the retirement age for private sectors employees to 60 years. The Act was enacted as such after considering the fact that Malaysia lives longer, the onset of aging population by 2030 and a projected shortage of employee provident funds saving. Bhai, what are the methods of surveys that have been carried out to determine the ideal retirement age?
Yes, various surveys had been carried out such as surveys done by Allianz International Pensions revealed that Malaysians are most optimistic about retirement compared to other nationalities. This study examines how people from two different age groups, 30 to 45 years and 60 to 75 years, across 7 countries prepare for retirement. It was found that 59% of Malaysians in the first group and 62% from the second group were confident about their future in the next 10 years. Haez, what are our findings for these issues?
Our findings for these issues are based on a result from a recent poll conducted by the Star newspaper via online on Monday 10 April 2017. There were 3,780 poll participants. 66% from the poll participants said no to increase the retirement age. 1,556 poll participants chose 55 as the ideal retirement age. Only mere 7% voted for age 70. This is to give opportunity to younger generation to take over workforce is the factor for those who voted against increasing the retirement age. Bhai, why is it important for one to have freedom of choice whether to retire early or later in their life?
Indeed, it is very important. There are a few factors that influence one's retirement decisions, such as job positions, family commitment, income background, health conditions, and economic status. As in Malaysia, for example, studies showed that 86% of EPF contributors did not have sufficient saving to last them through retirement. Based on expenditure of RM720 per month for a period of 20 years. 2003 surveyed that 2,427 former EPF contributors found that 14% of the retirees exhausted their savings in 3 years. Half of them ran out of savings in 5 years and 70% used up their saving in 10 years. EPF data in 2010 showed that 73% of contributors had saved less than RM50,000 by the time they reached 54 years of age. This shortage of savings is compounded by the longer average lifespan of Malaysians, which has risen to 75 years. In fact, by 2030, Malaysia is projected to become an aged nation where 15% of the population will be aged 60 years and above. This is compared to just 7.8% of the population aged 60 and over in 2010.
In conclusion, and in view of these statistics, Malaysian government in March 2011 decided to conduct a feasibility study on establishing a minimum retirement age of private sector employees through enacting the relevant laws. The Ministry of Human Resources then collected input and feedback from stakeholders of the minimum retirement age. The ministry efforts in implementing the minimum retirement age falls under the Human Capital Development Strategic Reform Initiative of Malaysia's Economic Transformation Program. In line with ETP's goal of transforming Malaysia into a high-income nation by 2020, the higher retirement age enacted through Minimum Retirement Age Act 2012 is expected to contribute towards the supply of human capital in the country while avoiding the loss of income for employees beyond 55 years. The irony, however, Malaysians are not in favor of increasing the retirement age from the existing 60 to 65.
Lastly, let us see what are the recommendations for further action in these issues. Some group of nations may retire earlier than age 60 if they hold higher positions during their working life, such as professionals like doctors, lawyers, engineers, and architects, where they have the abilities to save more money for retirement as compared to middle-income earners such as executives, secretaries, teachers, etc., who can retire at age 60 but probably will engage in a flexible income jobs to support their life during retirement. If the government keeps on raising the retirement age, those who are supposed to be promoted will also be affected. However, the government has been making efforts to cater to the needs of senior citizens who still want to work past the current retirement age of 60 years. The end. Thank
Thank
you.
you.